Hey co-stars, welcome to another episode of Generation Films. My name is British Ben, and last week we showed you every time the Enterprise was destroyed in Star Trek, and people seem to like it. You just love seeing other people fail, don't you? But since you seem to like destruction so much, I decided to do another video focusing not on the Enterprise this time, but on the USS Voyager, commanded by Captain Janeway, who is so exemplary they even decided to make a training hologram out of her.
I'm Captain Janeway, your training advisor. I'm a hologram based on one of the most decorated captains in Starfleet history.
Throughout the series, we see Voyager get completely trashed on multiple occasions. Look at all that steam escaping from the steam engine that powers the ship. And those rocks from the freshly mined ore that is stored behind every panel for some reason. Now most of the time it is limited to just throwing a few rocks around because obviously if you destroy the ship, you don't have a show. So like with the Enterprise D, a lot of the instances of complete destruction take place in alternate realities, alternate timelines, and with duplicate ships. So let's go through them all. This is every time the USS Voyager was destroyed in Star Trek. Number 1. SelfDestruct Activated. Now in the Season 2 episode Deadlock, Voyager picks up Vidian subspace communications in a solar system ahead. So they hide in a plasma cloud to avoid detection. But as they exit the cloud, they hit subspace turbulence and yeah, steam, rocks. But this actually happens to a Voyager in another dimension, and the real Voyager in this dimension is fine. Or is it this dimension? It could be the other way around. Anyway, one crew member manages to pass from the damaged Voyager through to the nice and clean Voyager, and then Chakotay runs a quantum level analysis.
Do you guys just put the word quantum in front of everything?
We ran a quantum level analysis. Watch what happens.
Anyway, quantum level analysis followed by multispectral analysis discovers that a duplicate ship has been created. But this duplicate ship is basically in Bizarro world. It's in another dimension and it's totally opposite from the real Voyager. It has been completely damaged. Through some impressive sounding fake science like quantum something multispectral something pulse, they attempt to merge the two ships. But this actually has the opposite effect and they go further out of phase. They realize the ship has been duplicated and that both ships cannot continue to exist at the same point in space-time. The atoms are degrading or something and both ships will get destroyed in the end if they don't do anything. Originally, the captain on the Bizarro Voyager wants to self-destruct her ship, but then the nice and clean Voyager gets boarded by Vidians, who are like these intergalactic organ harvesters, and they start going around trying to steal organs from the crew. And since the nice Voyager can't stand up to them, they decide to self-destruct.
Computer, initiate the self-destruct sequence. Authorization Janeway Pi 110.
And as the Vidians get to the bridge, they are toast and their ship is destroyed too. And only the completely trashed duplicate Voyager is left and they have a lot of repairs to do. But it makes you think maybe this damaged Voyager is the real one and the nice and clean one was the duplicate. Or maybe not. If that was the case, for the entire series, every episode, Janeway you see on screen would not be the original Janeway, but some kind of quantum duplicate.
Do you guys just put the word quantum in front of everything?
Yeah, I am. Okay, next one. Number 2, ramming speed. Starship ramming scenes.
Prepare for ramming speed!
A lot of people talk about it, but few can pull it off. So, in the 2-part episode, Year of Hell, Voyager is constantly attacked by this guy from the Krenim, who has this crazy time ship that can eradicate entire civilizations from the space-time continuum. As he eradicates different civilizations, it changes the course of history and his species' technological advancement, and his ship gradually becomes more and more powerful with aggressive weapons like chronoton torpedoes, for example. As time goes on, we see different characters get injured. Tuvok was blinded by that torpedo, for example. The steam engine keeps leaking. There are lots of rocks, both inside and outside the ship. But Voyager does develop a temporal shield that lets it withstand some of the attacks. In the end, Janeway takes a huge gamble, betting that if they destroy the temporal core of the Krenim ship, the entire timeline and all the civilizations it was destroying will be reset to before it started, back to the way it should be. And she has a great one-liner as she does it.
Time's up.
Do you get it? Time? Because it's a time weapon? Just watch the explosion. Anyway, the destruction of the temporal core does reset the timeline, and Voyager is reset to the lovely and clean one, and the whole crew never even knows what happened. Okay, on to the next one. Number 3, Voyager made of viscous liquid. In the episode Course Oblivion, we see the Voyager crew discover that the ship is, well, melting. We then see crew members suffering from cellular degradation, and they finally come up with a theory as to why. B'Elanna Torres dies, and this happens.
It was a duplicate. A biomimetic copy.
Biomimetic. Where have we heard that word before? Oh, that's right, the T-1000 biomimetic alloy. So B'Elanna was a T-1000 all along? Well, actually, all of the crew members and the ship were duplicates. You see, back in the episode Demon, a duplicate Voyager and entire crew were created by this viscous liquid called silver blood. So this Voyager crew are those duplicates, and throughout the episode we see the ship and crew melting as their cells break down. They end up looking like swamp creatures. Towards the end of the episode, they try to contact the real Voyager, and after determining its position, they drop out of warp by ejecting the core.
Warp ejection systems enabled. Eject the core.
Crazy how the warp core ejection system hasn't demolecularized yet. On any other ship, it always fails when you need to use it. Look.
We've got to eject the core! Ejection system's offline.
Can you eject the core?
No, the emergency systems are offline.
But when Voyager is melting from the inside out, look.
Warp ejection systems enabled.
Yep, no problem there. Anyway, as the T-1000 Voyager drops out of warp, sure enough, it breaks up, and when the real Voyager responds to its distress call, this is all that's left. Number 4, an icy crash landing. In the episode Timeless, and yeah, that name, you know we're in an alternate timeline, so anything can happen, Voyager accidentally attacks the rebel base on Hoth, thinking it's a Borg stronghold. Nah, just kidding. They crash on an ice planet after attempting to use quantum slipstream. There's that word again.
Do you guys just put the word quantum in front of everything?
Quantum slipstream drive.
Quantum slipstream is a high-speed warp drive system. For the system to work, you have to set up a nightclub in engineering with disco lights and expensive champagne, but everyone gets a little too drunk and it fails and they crash. But Harry, Kim, and Chakotay survived because they weren't on board the ship. They were in the Delta Flyer, which was sending course corrections to Voyager, and the reason for the crash was some of these course corrections were incorrect, and thus Voyager fell out of the slipstream and crashed on Hoth. Future Kim and Chakotay head back to Voyager's crash site, and they have a plan to send accurate course corrections to 7 of 9 in the past in order to avoid the crash. In the end, they find that they cannot actually correct the course, so they send corrections that will disperse the slipstream, and that actually works, and they save 150 lives. All right, now let's look at the 5th and final time that Voyager is destroyed in Star Trek. Number 5, temporal explosion. In the episode Relativity, and this is the really cool episode where you get to see the 29th century Federation time ship Relativity, in this episode, a device is planted on Voyager that is designed to rupture space-time within a range of 150 meters. The device in one timeline causes Voyager to explode in a spectacular fashion. But the time ship Relativity possesses the ability of time travel. They're kind of like the time police. Basically, they were the TVA before Marvel made it all cool, moody, and communist looking. In the 29th century, the Time Police enlist the help of 7 of 9 to travel through time and stop the sabotage, saving the ship. Alright guys, that's 5 times Voyager was destroyed in Star Trek. Which one is your favorite? Leave your comments below. I know it's not as many as the Enterprise D. Maybe they thought that was a bit over the top and they toned it down a bit. But Captain Janeway did make an exemplary example of herself as Captain for her amazing command decisions, and Starfleet felt that they even should make a training hologram out of her for the USS Protostar in Star Trek Prodigy. It's like, hey kids, forget about your simulations, forget the Kobayashi Maru, let's learn how to activate the self-destruct or ramming speed, let's do that. Anyway guys, please leave your comments below, please subscribe to our channel for more sci-fi videos, and we will see you next time. Bye bye.